Hello chaps, and welcome to another week of What's on Court. Now this week is terribly exciting because my fancy new microphones arrived this week. I know you've all been driving me up the wall about the rubbish audio in the last video, but they're on their way. They're going to arrive any minute now, so I thought I'd do this little intro just to show you how shit it was, and so you can sort of see in a minute how great it's going to be. But this week I've got a car. I'm going to the live car dealer podcast in Oxford. It's run by James Baggett. He invited, well, very kindly gave me a ticket to the live podcast event for the Car Dealer magazine live podcast, and that's on that's tomorrow. So that's Wednesday. So it's starting filming on Tuesday this week because various bits and bobs, kids and stuff. So I've got that tomorrow. That's going to be really exciting. I haven't a clue what it's going to be like. I'm going to know absolutely no one there. It's going to be full of car dealers. I've got to figure out what to wear, what to say. I guess it's going to be like a typical wedding, I think. You know, if you don't, when you go to a wedding and you just don't know anyone there, you just get absolutely hog-wimpingly drunk. I don't think it's going to be quite like that, but you'll see if you see me singing Sweet Caroline 3 o'clock in the morning. Hopefully I won't be filming that, but yeah, well, that's going to be exciting. We've got cars to buy on tomorrow as well, so I'm going to do those by proxy bid. I'm not going to be able to get to the auction, but I've whittled down my 2 or 3 cars that I'm going to look to place a bid with. And I'm going to walk you through that in a bit more detail than I did last time, and really show you how I crunched it down to the final 2. And we'll see what happens with those. I had a test drive on that. Guy said he said, Sam, I absolutely love the car. It's exactly what I want. I'll let you know. It's beautiful. Best car I've driven, and gosh, that's a car I really want. I said, that's fine. That's fine. Just take your time, and it's a big purchase, so see how. Just let me know. Not a word from him. I sent him a message saying, Dave, would you still interested in a Volvo? As you absolutely adored it and loved it, and spent about an hour and a half looking around it. Not a peep out of him. So hey ho. Anyway, so that's still up for sale. So we might see if we can try and push that. Maybe not as hard as we did with the Citroen, but try and do something a little bit fun with that this week. But yeah, onward and upward. So I thought I'd give you a brief tour of HQ here, which I haven't done yet. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. Look at that, it's beautiful. So here we have the forecourt. You can see it just over there. Hang on. There's some gear there ready for forecourt maintenance. That'll be happening very shortly. Volvo, my lovely little run around. The Citroen. And in here we've got my little Aladdin's cave of cleaning. All my cleaning gear. There it is. Can never have enough of the stuff. And I'll take you down to the lower forecourt. So this is the upper forecourt. I'm sure I mentioned it before. I mean, this car, which is my runaround, it was owned by. I bought it from a mate of mine. Bought it for 500 quid, and it was used for the carers that looked after his mother. I mean, I'm absolutely amazed his mother's still alive. But look at the state of it. But it does me well, as I said in previous videos. But right, down to the bottom forecourt. Right, so this is, there you can see that the Discovery, that's the way it deserves to be honest, at the moment. But it's that's going into Land Rover tomorrow for a very expensive proper diagnosis and hopefully a repair, so I can get that sold. But this is where I sort of tend to put the cars that are I'm not really doing anything with or just waiting to have stuff done. So I've got a bit of lean-to in there. That barn, the entrance of that barn, that's full of logs at the moment, so I can't really put anything in there. And then in here I've got a nice lean-to, and I can just stuff cars in there. But they get shat on by birds, so that's why this is out here. Oh cripes, it's unlocked as well, so I better get that locked up. So yeah, there you have it. Forecourt, lower forecourt. Good evening. Tuesday evening. And look. 1 2 1 2 testing. They've arrived. So thank God for that. But Tuesday evening, and I had an email today from the chap who we're buying the Mazda back from. If you recall, on the last video, we've been asked to buy this car back. Long story short, he said there were some problems with the car. He never told us about it. It was a distance sale in the end. It was my first car, and I hadn't got him to sign the 14 day distance sale waiver. So in theory, I've got to buy the car back. And I'd much rather do it now than a year and a bit down the line. So I'm buying that back. I was going to go to Mannheim tomorrow and show you how I do all the cars and get them on the spreadsheet and whittle them down to one or two. But seeing as I'm not going to go to Mannheim tomorrow, I'm not really going to go and choose the cars because I've got to buy this car back at about £9,000. The Land Rover's going in. That's a complete unknown, and that could be anywhere up to about 3,000 quid. So there's a lot of money being held up, and I got the Volvo last week, so that's 9 and a bit grand. So I'm just going to hold fire on spending any more money on cars until we can shift some of these problem cars or sort them out. So I really need to get on the hoof and get these sorted out, so we can start turning some profit instead of having them all tied up and doing nothing. So that's what I'm going to do. No Mannheim tomorrow, but I will do, if you want me to do a little video on how I pick the cars, because I throw some AI in as well, and that helps me work out the costs of what's needing to be done to each car, because I actually get the AI to read all the advisories on the previous MOTs and give me an estimated cost of repair by getting them into a spreadsheet. So that's pretty cool, but we'll do that some other time, but not this week. So tomorrow, Land Rover in, and off to Oxford tomorrow. Laters. Right, off we go. Land Rover down to Exeter. I really hope these guys can sort this out. Down to forecourt, or lower forecourt, and let's get going. Right, your time's up, buddy. No more prattling around. Come on, let's get you sorted out. So I'm in Land Rover. It's all very smart. I think the least I can do is get myself a coffee. Right, that's the Land Rover done and dusted into where it needs to meet its maker, so to speak. Right, I'm all ready to go to the live podcast now. Running a bit late, but sort of trying to choose which was going to be my chariot today. I'm not going to take that one. I don't think the for sale sign will make it up the M5. I'm certainly not going to take this one because this has got a chronic oil leak. I don't think I'll make it. So It's the trusty Volvo. That is going to take me up to Oxford today. So I'm all packed ready. Got my business cards for a bit of networking. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. See you later. Oh, well, that was a lovely, comfy drive. And here we are in Milton Hill House Hotel. You see it in the background there. So that's where the event is today and tonight. Now they've got drinks starting in half an hour. So I want to make sure I got here early in time for that. And then the podcast starts about 4 o'clock. That goes for about an hour and a half, and then it's a big car dealer barbecue in the grounds. So I don't know how much film you'll be able to do, but if I can get any snifters and clips, I certainly will do. But yeah, let's give it a go. Laters, bye. Well, what a thoroughly wonderful evening that was, with hundreds of car dealers. And it's 1 o'clock in the morning, but I had such a fantastic time. Met so many people from Car Wow, Motorway, and loads of independent car dealers and major car dealers as well. So loads of questions asked, loads of feedback. I mean, these networking opportunities are things to go to, and you mustn't miss out on those. If you can get to go and do them, you must do them. But anyway, it's a night for me. I've had a fantastic evening, and well, we'll see everyone for breakfast tomorrow. But and then on our way back down to Devon. See you later. Bye. Good afternoon. It's Thursday, and I'm back at base from Oxford. And to be totally honest, I'm a little bit fluffy around the gills today after last night. But so it's a calm day. The heating's on. It's bloody cold outside, so jumper on, heating's on, and I've got a cup of tea. And I thought, what a perfect opportunity to explain how I started the business and what I needed to do to get insurance, banks, the auctions set up. So step one, I went to set up a limited company, and that was only about £12. So I wanted to set up a limited company because I wanted to create a little bit more trust behind the company, and I think as a limited company you can do that. Yes, there's more filing and what have you, but tax purposes, obviously you can take a minimum salary, and then you can take dividends at a much lower rate, about 8.4 or something right now. Probably going to increase shortly, but we'll come to that when it comes. So I set up a limited company. I could have done a sole trader, but I decided to go limited. So set that up at Companies House, £12. Here's a bit of a tip. Sometimes when you go and set your banking up afterwards, if you say I'm a car trader, a lot of banks won't want to deal with you, so it'll be very difficult to get a bank account. What I did is, when I initially wanted to start doing cars, I wanted to source them for people. So I went, oh, okay, well, maybe I'm a consultant then. So I actually applied through as a consultant, automotive consultants or something like that. So I knew that if I was to go there and get a bank account, I'd put consultant, automotive consultant, and then it would go, oh, we like consultants, so we'll give you an account. So anyway, that might completely backfire me later on, but anyway, it got me the account, got me all set up. So yeah, HMRC or Companies House. Then I went to set up the bank account, and I used Monzo. I used Monzo for my private personal banking. So I thought, well, let's pull the whole thing into one on the app, Monzo app. So I set up the bank account through that, and that all got agreed, which was great. So then, to sign up with all the auctions, you need to have trade insurance. So that was going to be the first outlay or first overhead I was going to have. So I wanted to make sure that overheads were at an absolute minimum. So I did a lot of shopping around. Anyway, I ended up signing up with Gallagher Insurance. And Gallagher Insurance gave me a pretty competitive quote. I think it was £1,100 for the year. And that basically covered me for as many cars I could fit on my forecourt. Um, and I was also able to bring in my personal car and put it on the policy. Um, I can drive any car on the policy. I can do test drives. I can do, but I have to be in the car on a test drive, which I don't like. And I'm going to try and speak to them and see if I can adjust that, because when I go on a test drive, I think the last thing people want is someone sitting next to them thinking, it feels like they're on some kind of driving test. And I'd much rather, a family come and take the car out without me being in the car and discuss the car while they're out on the test drive. And then by the time they come back in, they either go, yes, we'll take it. But they're probably less likely to do that if I'm in the car. They haven't had that time to chat. So, because if they come back and say, yes, I'll take it, I can take a deposit and then, mark the car as sold and start getting prepped. But, with me being in the car, I think people find it a little bit, they're less likely to sort of start chatting amongst themselves about whether they're actually going to want the car or not. So I'm going to speak to them about that. But anyway, as it stands, I have to be in the car. So what I can, as I say, drive any vehicle. And I think that's pretty much it on the insurance. Then I went to go and get my trade plates. Trade plates, you can't apply for those online. You have to print out a form. You have to send a check. You have to. Yeah, it's quite old school. They haven't quite got round to doing it online. Sod's Law, you'll have a look, and they've just started doing it. But I certainly had to sort of print it out and send it off to them with a check, and that took about, and that cost about £121, and that was for about 9 months worth, and it always renews in December, I believe. So I think I applied for them in April, May, or something like that. So it was £121. And then I'll have to reapply again in December, and probably pay a bit more for the whole year for the following December. So they came through in about 10 days. I think they say a few weeks, but mine came through in about 10 days. So I knew that when they came through, I could literally go to auction. Well, during that 10 days, I then applied for all the auctions. So Mannheim, BCA, and Aston Barclay, they all required my trade insurance certificate to get the account set up to prove that I was a dealer. So Mannheim, I think, cost about £75. BCA was free, I believe, and Aston Barclay was about £55, I believe. So so by the time the trade plates arrived, the accounts were all set up, and I could literally go to auction, buy a car, trade plates in, drive it home, fully insured. I could pay for all the insurance, all the cars through my new bank account, and everything was set up as a limited company. So, and then off I went. I was rolling. So there's nothing really else I needed to do for that. Public liability insurance, I then got shortly after that, which I think you need, especially if you're going to be storing cars off-site in any way. They would be seen as stock cars off the premises. So you'd need your public liability insurance would cover that as stock. So that's quite a good thing you need to probably get that if you're going to keep your cars off-site and not at your premises. So there you have it. There's the setup process that I had to go through. Sod's law, I probably missed something, or I haven't signed up to something and I'm going to get horribly fined later on. But as far as I know, that's all you have to do. So yeah, well, as I said, very fluffy today, and I'm meant to be going out a bit later on. I think I'd rather drink a cold cup of sick than go out later on. But anyway, we must soldier on. Good morning. It's Friday, And I've had an email from Land Rover, and they've done the diagnostics, and they've found the fault, and they say they can fix it. So they've sent over an estimate, and I'm going to show you what that estimate is. Have a look. So the culprit was a cracked DPF cooler. The cooler filter was blocked as well. So the bottom line, 2,772. Now, I spoke to the lovely lady Pamela at Land Rover, and I said, is there anything you can do on that price? And she's brought it down to, she's given me 15% off the parts, and that brings it's brought it down to about 2,500, including the VAT. I can claim the VAT back, but yeah, it's a chunky bill. And I was kind of expecting something around £3,000, 2.5, £3,000, so I wasn't too far out. It's also got an engine vent leaking when they did a smoke test. But anyway, they said if they rectify these, that problem has gone away until the next one appears. So I've told the customer who's buying this car, and he's very happy that this has all been done and that I'm doing it. So he's still on board, which is great. So I'm just going to get an update on when it's going to get done, and take it from there, really. So I think what a lot of people might do is sort of take that estimate and say, right, I'm going to have it done elsewhere a lot cheaper, because their hourly rate is £198 versus what, 50, 60 £60 in a local garage. But I want the customer who's buying this car to feel reassured it's being done properly by Land Rover, and I think that's going to be quite a bit of a selling point as well for him, just to make sure he's still on board with the sale, and then I can take in his part exchange, which is a Nissan Qashqai. So I've spoken to him, and he's thrilled. He's thrilled that I'm going to go ahead and authorise all this work to be done. So all I've got to do now is get an update from Land Rover when it's going to be done, set a date, get the car back, valet it. I've got a few little bits and bobs to do on it, windscreen wiper. I think a bulb's out as well, which Land Rover found. So, but I'm going to put my own bulb in, and I'm going to put my own wiper on, and I'm certainly not going to have my pants pulled down by Land Rover for those little bits. But I'm definitely getting this done by then, and I think it's probably the right thing to do. So thank God for that. I mean, terrifying bill, but I feel great that it's going to get done, and he's going to have a new DPF filter. Yeah, happy. Bizarrely. Laters. Good morning. Saturday morning. And just as I was finishing my poached eggs, we had a call from the customer who has the Mazda that we're buying back, and he said, "I'm here," and here it is. So remember, this is the one that we're buying back, but and he said the car drove absolutely fine on the way down here. But anyway, it's in great condition actually. No, he's actually looked after it. He's put a tow bar on it, and the reason, he says he's lost confidence in the car, but it's driving absolutely fine. I mean, there's some I just don't understand, to be honest. But no, it's a great looking car. We sold this within about 2 or 3 days, so I'm really hoping it's going to shift quickly again. So I need to get that up for sale. It needs a new MOT, so that's booked in for Monday. But there's nothing stopping from getting up for sale today, I don't think. Get it sold, get the money back, and just move on. That's the main thing. Move on. I think the more you fight things like this, the more it plays on your head, the more you're less productive. And it's a great car, so let's just get it going. Let's get it sold. And you will deal with people like this, but it's how you deal with them, I think. And I think we've dealt with this one pretty well, I hope. But I'm happy, he's happy, and as I say, move on. Let's get this up for sale. I was going to try and do some drone stuff today with the Volvo. I guess it's nice. I'm hoping this cloud's going to clear, get some nice pretty shots so I can add that up onto the advert. I literally just had a phone call asking for a test drive on that for Tuesday. So all being well, that will I'll get that all tarted up and get it ready. Clear the forecourt, make sure when he comes that the car's looking at its best. And also I've heard that the Discovery is now ready to pick up. It's all absolutely fine. So we're going to go and pick that up on Monday. But yeah, bit of work on this today. Bit of a shuffle around of cars, some down to the lower forecourt. Yeah, laters. Well, it's raining cats and dogs here today, so definitely not going to be any drone action this afternoon. I've got the Mazda's now up for sale, which is great. Let's try and sell that this week, that'd be awesome. But I think when the weather's like this on a Saturday, there's only one thing for. What a wonderful sight. Sometimes when the weather's just a little bit rubbish, it's nice to hunker down by I don't think they'll have a fire on, but a pint at the tally-ho. Here we go. Well, that's better. So a bit of a frustrating week this week. So nothing bought, apart from a car that I sold and had to buy back. Nothing sold. A very expensive bill. So it feels like about 8 steps back this week. But I think next week's going to be an absolute belter. I think we're going to do well next week. High hopes for the Volvo. I think the Mazda might bring some inquiries in, and the Land Rover's going to be back, and we're going to hand that over to the new owner and also take in his cash guy. So we're going to have a very interesting week next week, and also I've got a very, very special announcement for next week. It's pretty big. For us it is. It's very big. So stay tuned for that. And but thanks for watching. Thanks for watching all this way. So look forward to seeing you next week on What's on Court. See you later. Bye.